There's a million ways that I could introduce you, but the one that I feel like really encapsulates you and I feel like captures your aura, your energy is the Immortal, bro.
There's
Thanks.
never been a Matt Brown fight ever that's boring. Your style has always been do or die, seek and destroy.
He's gonna look for that elbow. He's out.
Being a UFC fighter already is 1%. Then of those, how many have had as many fights as you? And how few have had as many fucking knockouts as you?
This knockout puts you right alongside the Black Beast Derek Lewis for the most knockouts in UFC history.
Today, I really want to talk to the fighter behind the fighter. Obviously, we could sit here and just chop it up about UFC all day, but you're a lot more than that, man. So I appreciate you taking the time, and we're going to have a fun episode. Matt Brown, welcome to the It's Not That Deep podcast, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Dude, it's crazy, man. We just met last night in the sauna, and we're here in Medellin, Colombia. There's a million ways that I could introduce you. There's a bunch of titles, accolades, all that stuff. Father, UFC knockout king, entrepreneur, gym owner, so many things. But the one that I feel like really encapsulates you and I feel like captures your aura, your energy is the Immortal, bro. I mean, you know, there's a reason why that's the name. But today I really want to talk to the fighter behind the fighter. Obviously, we could sit here and just chop it up about UFC all day, but you're a lot more than that, man. So I appreciate you taking the time, and we're going to have a fun episode.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you seeing that because that's when everybody asked me about retirement, it was what, last year or the year before? Well, I haven't fought since 23, but I retired last year, right? Like that was something I mentioned to people. They're like, bro, how do you feel about it? I'm like, bro, like, I'm not just a fighter, man. Like, I'm a whole person too, you know what I mean? And it gets kind of annoying, like, when people just see that part of you. I mean, I get it too, right? Because, like, I see other fighters and I'm like, yeah, he's just a fighter, you know what I mean? So, like, I you know, on the inside though, you're just like, man, like I'm more than that, you know what I mean? So I had to prove that to myself too, that I was more than that, because I wasn't sure really that I was either. You know what I mean? I kept saying it, but I was like, I don't really know if I am, bro. Like, I've been doing this for like 20 years, you know?
Well, it's such an interesting way to start the show because for me, like, that's always been something that I've struggled with. I grew up playing football and that became my identity. That's who I am. I'm an athlete. That's just what I am. That's my value. But then when that got taken away, shoulder surgeries, all that, and I didn't get to go to the next level, I'm like, what the fuck's left? Who am I? And you got to rebuild that identity. Talk to me about a time, you know, when you had to like rebuild that identity early on.
Well, I mean, the most obvious one, if you read my story, or if you know my story, you know, overdose on heroin, and which was a significant thing in my life, but it wasn't the most significant, to be honest. But just when I decided I wasn't going to live this life no more, and I was going to be a UFC fighter, which is like, you know, I was that guy with anybody who's went to a gym knows that guy that walks in like I want to bet in the UFC, you know, and you're just like, you know, it's a palm smack to the face every time. You're like, not this guy again. I was that guy.
You get humbled, yeah.
For sure.
Uh-huh.
But I was that guy. I just went and did it. I just didn't give up. You know what I mean? But I had to rebuild my identity there because, you know, quitting that lifestyle, you know, escaping every friendship that I had, just going on about life solo and deciding that this is what I'm going to do. And that's actually what the Immortal tattoo was about. A lot of people don't know that. Like, they think it was about the, you know, the overdose or something. But what it actually was a reminder to me every day that no one can stop you from what you want to do, right? Like, you can bury me 6 feet in the ground, I'm going to dig my ass up out of there.
I love that, bro. And that's something that's such a common theme on this show. And that's like the type of people I like to talk to is like just becoming 1% better, 1% better. Keep showing up, keep training, keep believing in yourself. But what happened? Like, okay, so, you know, you're obviously down a dark path. Talk to me about that. And how do you climb out of that? Like, that's not easy for a lot of people.
No, it was exactly what you were just talking about. Like, we just rebuilt the identity. Like, I actually am. So, okay, we're talking about Alcoholics Anonymous, right? What's the first thing they say? You stand up and you say, my name is Matt, I'm an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. You just branded your identity, right? So that's something I've kind of been anti AA, even though I know it's helped a lot of people.
For sure.
So I'm not going to like knock it or anything.
But you don't want to become that because it becomes your belief. Yeah. You start believing it.
I say stand up and be like, I'm Matt and I'm not an alcoholic. I'm a fucking warrior. You know what I mean? And that's basically all I did was I just woke up every day And so what would a warrior do today? Right? Would he go drink? No, he's go for a run. You know, and I used a lot of like GSP was a big influence. Rich Franklin was a huge influence because I was around him a lot. You know, sometimes I'd be down in the dumps, whatever, and I'd be like, you know, what would GSP do right now?
Yep.
You know,
100%,
it's that easy, you know? Not that it's easy, but that's simple, not easy.
100%, bro. And for me, like, just relating with that, like, obviously not a UFC fighter or anything like that, but I have been going down the path of like becoming obsessed with martial arts. And that was a big turning point for me because I was drinking a lot. And I was like, I run a business, I got a lot of stress, and I got all these stories that I tell myself that are like, oh man, like I work hard, I do this, like, nah, this is my way to relax, this is whatever. But I realized it was a crutch for me, and it's been almost a couple months now where I stopped drinking completely, and then I really got even more into and more obsessed with, yo, what would an elite fighter do? What would an elite entrepreneur do? What would an elite artist do? And I actually developed this framework where I print out this sheet, and every single morning I read this sheet with these three identities: the athlete, the entrepreneur, and the artist, and I sign it. And I sign it every single day. It's like a contract with myself. And that's helped me a lot because it's like I'm reaffirming it, and I'm programming my mind of like, well, would an athlete put that pizza in his mouth or do that line of blow or, you know, stay up late or whatever. And it completely changes your blueprint of your DNA. Talk to me about, you know, when you think about, I mean, look, being a UFC fighter already is 1%. How many people can say that they've even been in the octagon? Then of those who've been in the octagon, how many have had as many fights as you? And how few have had as many fucking knockouts as you? Obviously, we're not only making this about fighting, but it is a big part of your story. How do you get to that 1%?
Again, I think it's simple, not easy. I think any venture in life, it's just you do an unreasonable amount of work. You know, like you just don't like probably like one of the most powerful quotes I ever heard in my life was the book The Meaning of Life. I think it was called Meaning of Life. God, now his name's slipping me, but he was a Holocaust survivor. Everybody knows this
Man's
book.
Search for Meaning.
Man's Search for Meaning.
Yeah, Viktor Frankl.
Yes, it was escaping me for a second. And he said, when you have your why, you can figure out anyhow. And I think that's like the most powerful thing right there, man. Like if you know like what you want to do and why you want to do it, then you just put in the work to do it. And like one thing I kind of explain to people, like my fighters that I work with, or kind of normal people that don't understand it, or so I get asked the question, like, what's the difference between you and other fighters, right? The difference between me is I make a choice and I stick with it. Like I've been around many, many gyms, like say we're lifting weights and they say you got to do 100 reps. Like guys will do 99. I just did 101. That's it. You know what I mean? And I die before I do 99. Like if I die right then, that's fine with me, right? Like I don't put my life above being a dishonorable or a liar to myself, right? So I think what that creates is a lot of confidence too, right? Like I struggled with confidence a lot, particularly as I was coming up, right? I didn't start training hard until I was 24. I'm going against guys that have been, you know, wrestling since they were 5 years old, you know what I mean? And like real athletes and shit, right? So one thing that I figured out pretty early on is, you know, when you lie to your subconscious, it won't believe you, right? Like we have a conscious thing that we say to ourselves, right? I'm going to do 100 reps, right? I'm going to do 45 on the treadmill. I'm going to finish this. If you don't finish it, your subconscious gets attuned to that. Now saying, oh, you're not a truth teller, right? So then when you walk in the octagon, now it's on the line and you're saying to yourself, I'm going to win. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Your subconscious is like, no, you ain't, bitch.
You kind of are like a fraud to yourself.
Absolutely.
And then that manifests in the outcome.
And one of the beautiful things about martial arts that I'm sure that you love, and you may not have thought of this or maybe have, it is the truest expression of human that you can find. Like we can talk about your music, which I'm a huge musician, right? Like I play guitar, shit. You talk about art. You can talk about all these different ways people express themselves. I don't believe there's a truer way than a fight.
It's gladiator shit, bro. I mean, there's two men in a ring or octagon or something, and in theory, one of them walks out of there. Obviously, it's been
Yeah, we have refs
yeah,
now,
we,
unfortunately, but it sucks, but we do.
certain rules, just so we can keep the thing going.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, no, I think that's super beautiful because like the truest expression of humans is, and people might misconstrue that as like it's just a physical thing, but no, it's like actually all mental.
Well, yeah, it's both.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I kind of don't like when people say that when they're like, it's all mental, it's not physical. The physical comes from the mental,
Right.
right? You got to put in the training,
Mhm.
which is going to take a lot of mental capacity and mental energy. But if you're physical, like I know, like we could go out on the streets and fight regular people that I don't give a fuck how strong their mind is. Like they're never going to be a good fighter.
For sure.
I mean, there's nerds, right? Like
For sure.
they have their place in the world too. So it's not all just mental. Like I know some
You're
very
saying it's
mental
both.
strong people. It's both.
And what comes first, though? What?
Oh, well, yeah, totally the mind. Yeah.
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 So I think that's kind of like what I mean by it is like there's so many people who can do something physical, right? Like there's so many bodybuilders who can, whatever, but you put them in a combat scenario, it's like, okay, cool, you got the physical, whatever, but I feel like it follows the mental. There's a
Yeah,
decision.
yeah.
There was a point where you're like, no, I'm going to be the best.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. It absolutely starts with the mental and ends with the mental.
100%.
But the physical is in the in between.
Totally, bro. What was a belief that young Matt Brown had that you felt like was holding you back?
Oh, so many bad beliefs, bro. I mean, I could go deep as one inside my childhood and shit. It wasn't a positive childhood. It wasn't, it wasn't reinforcing in any way. Wasn't encouraging, optimistic. So I develop all that on my own. And I didn't understand. I think that was a huge confusion. I still struggle with it today, right? Like it's embedded in me, right? But it's like this thing you have to, like, that's the hardest part of the identity change, something you were taught when you were like 0 to 10 years old, right? So I wasn't necessarily taught like optimism and, you can get it done and you can do this. It was more like go to work and make your money so you can drink over the weekend and, and like make sure your bills are paid and just do what you got to do and you'll live, right? So I had to kind of develop that, because I wanted a lot more. And that kind of, again, we could get deep as you want, but that kind of led to a lot of my drinking and sort of, feeling alone in society. I mean? Like not relating to other people, Because I was like, I'm born and built and born and built for so much more than this. I know I was born in a small town of population of 200, I'm like, I know that I'm bigger and better than this, but I don't know how to do it. Nobody taught me anything. So I had to kind of learn that on my own. And I think Rustin was actually just asking me the other day, he said, man, what if you would have started training when you were 15 or 10 or some shit? I was like, man, I don't know, actually. I don't know if I'll be the same person. I don't know if I'd have the same motivation, the same drive.
It had to happen that way.
It almost had to, right?
Yeah.
We can't look at life that way, right?
No.
We have to look at it like, no, that happened to me in a good way.
No, because I'm such a believer in like the butterfly effect of like, one thing happens and it's everything, the ripple of all of that. We're sitting here today having this conversation because a million, trillion, bajillion
Butterfly,
decisions and just reality shifting. It has to happen this way.
Yeah.
So
and I think also I'll add to that, the other part is I don't think about those things also because something I've developed very well, I believe, is just acceptance. And I think that's a difficult thing for a lot of people to do. It's kind of a Buddhist thing, but I actually get it from Musashi, who's my hero. It's tattooed on me here. And his 21 Rules of Life, the Dokudo, if you ever heard of this.
Yeah, I have.
It's brilliant. It's so brilliant. People have no fucking clue how brilliant it is. 21 sentences. So simple. And people would maybe not know the story, right? So he wrote
I don't
these.
know the story.
So he went to this.
Was it the 5 rings or whatever? Like,
yeah, so he's the one who wrote the 5 rings, right? He retired in the cave to write the 5 rings. He came down, gave everybody the 5 rings, goes back, writes the Dokudo, brings it down to his apprentice, goes up the cave and dies the next day. And when I read the Musashi stuff, like to me, that's like it's the top of the world, right? Like what we do is is intense, right? We do fight in a cage in front of millions of people, blah blah. This dude was sword fighting in front of nobody or 10 people or whatever, to the death. Like, bro, like that's some fucking real shit. You know what I mean? Even like war veterans, like not to taking away anything from that, but like they're shooting people with guns and drones and bombs and shit, right? Like this dude's like standing this close to each other to kill each other, and you got to push the knife in. There's a book called On Killing that talks about this shit. A brilliant book about what it takes to kill someone, and they're like, it's actually way more difficult to stab someone because it's such personal.
It's very personal, up close, personal. And like you gotta really,
So anyway, so Musashi, he'd had, documented a 60 of these battles, and probably around 100 to 120, right? So when someone like that speaks, I'm listening, right? So he brought these 21 rules down, and the first one is accept things the way they are. To circle back to where I was getting with that. Accept things the way they are. And if you read like all these philosophy books, all through history, like they all like touch on that, but say it in different ways. He said it in a one sentence.
Yeah, there's
and this
like
is
a
what
lot
I
of
like
the
about
Stoic philosophies then, like of Aurelius and whatever, like
and Buddhists and everybody, right? But he said it in one sentence, and that's
so
what I
clean.
like about it. Clean, yeah.
I like that a lot. And how have those teachings then applied to you in training and applying that to actually the art of the martial arts?
It's not that deep, but we'll get deep.
We always joke about that on the show, man. We always get deep.
The most powerful quote in my life, man, changed everything for me. That was Musashi. He said, there's nothing outside of yourself that'll make you bigger, better, richer, stronger, faster. Everything exists. Everything is within. Seek nothing outside of yourself. And that changed everything for me. It kind of goes along with like Jocko's Extreme Ownership book, which everybody's fucking read this, right? Yeah. But again, Musashi said it in one little sentence, right? Like everything exists, everything is within. Seek nothing outside of yourself, and that changed my whole philosophy on everything. Going through all the different things that I've been through, and not saying I've been through like more than anybody else, right? Like we all go through our shit, we all got our story. But when I stopped looking outside for answers and looking inside, it changed everything.
So it's not seeking external validation of like, I need to win this fight in order to be happy.
That's one part of it, yeah. Or if you lose the fight and you're blaming someone else or coach or, the diet, whatever, it's like, no, blame yourself, right?
Interesting. And so when it comes to those highest of highs and lowest of lows, how do you how do you remember that? Because at the end of the day, I can read all the philosophy books and I try to practice this stuff, but there's still emotions at the end of the day.
Yeah.
How do you control these emotions?
I don't find it that complicated for myself. I think I'm blessed with stoicism also, like naturally a little bit, right? Yeah. Just like physical gifts, like we're blessed with like different mental gifts. I'm just blessed with stoicism. Like I've had bad things happen. I'm like, oh, okay, that sucks, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think like the biggest thing for me is, especially particularly pertaining to the martial arts, but I use it in many other facets of life too. But when fighting is kind of the primary one we're probably discussing here, right? I just zoom out to the bigger picture. Alex Hormozy has a great thing he talks about. I'm sure you listen to Alex all the time. We all do. He's the fucking greatest ever. But he talks about a great thing, and he said he talked about this like we're going to be the ancient Americans one day, right? The sun's going to be out one day. Like, how far do you want to zoom out? You know. So it's like we're going to zoom in and cry about this tiny little thing that happened. Like
pretty insignificant.
I lost a fight to a guy on a Saturday night for $100,000. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck, bro? Like, do we really care?
For that, it's not that deep.
It's not so
there
deep,
you go.
Right? But it is kind of deep, right?
No,
At the same time, so not that deep and deep. But for me, the way that I look particularly at martial arts, was when I stepped into the martial arts facility, day one, I married the sport, and I'm a faithful spouse. Like I'm in this sport for life. Like till the day I die, I want to die on the mats in a pool of blood or whatever, right? I want to be on the mats when I die. This is my wife, and my girl hates me saying this, but whatever. It is what it is. Like this is who I am. So this fight that I have is a picture in time of where my martial art is on this day. And I know I can beat any man in the world on the right day. maybe on that day I wasn't there, right? Maybe if we fought the day before, I would have beat him, or maybe he would have beat me. You know what I mean? So when I can just zoom out and be like, look, this is who I am, and this is what my life is as a martial artist. This little picture in time isn't as meaningful as people make it out to be. And
it comes back to that acceptance.
Accept it 100%, right? And you accept it and say, okay, well, this is what I have to work on, and not let the emotions, with emotions, it's one of those things where I'm big on, feeling the emotion, allowing the emotion, but not letting the emotion control you. You control yourself still, right? Through logic and sensibilities and reason. But that doesn't mean you can't just discard emotions like they don't exist, right? That's going to be there, and that's cool. Like, I can accept that.
Yeah.
Like, all right, like I'm angry. Like, does that mean that I have to go knock the guy out because he cut me off and I'm angry at him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, no, I don't have to. So I can accept that emotion, allow it to do whatever it wants to do. But when your emotions control you, that's more feminine behavior, right? And I'm sure you guys get into that, the masculine, feminine type stuff. And to me, that's just very feminine behavior.
Right.
Whereas like as a masculine man, your job is to not allow that emotion to control you.
Right. Acknowledge it, recognize it, feel it, process it for a second, and then move the fuck on.
You said it better than I did.
I love it. I love it, bro.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to you a little bit about this yesterday, and so I'm prepping for my first amateur fight.
Yeah.
All right. And so
let's go.
it's kind of a switch has been flipped, and it's all I can think about.
Yeah.
Right. And so
welcome to the life.
hell yeah, bro. And so obviously, talking to someone who has had so many fights and has prepared for so many of these, can you walk me back to like where you were at when you were going for your first like official fight? Like what's the mindset like there?
Well, my first official fight, that's a little different. I was coked up and
okay.
Yeah, that was a little different. But my first fight where I was sober and trained and did it properly, yes, I remember. One of the main things I remember about it that still hits me hard to this day was, I could see him. It's like a theater stage. It's like a concert venue, right? So like we're on stage, so I could see him on the other side as we're like warming up, right? And I remember I'm trying to hold my hands up to kind of shadow box a little bit, and I couldn't lift my arms.
Holy shit.
Like I was so fucking nervous, I could not lift my arms. I was like, bro, how am I going to fight when I can't lift my arms? And like the gloves, I finally got my arms up and I was like, dude, these gloves are like
heavy,
so heavy. I'm like, how do boxers do this shit? Like these are like 4 ounces. And then I got in there and beat him, choked him unconscious. And I was like, damn, like that's not nearly like what I thought it would be.
Just like most things in life.
Like everything, yeah. Man. So we create this image of them in our head of who they are and what they are. They're like a fucking demon, man. You'll go through this. Like the dude's gonna feel like he's fucking Leviathan out there, and you're just like, bro, what do I do? Like, and then he throws a punch, and you're like, wait, like that's not even as good as the punches I was getting thrown at last week.
Yeah,
like this is standard, but you have to go through that. I don't think there's an answer other than experience.
That's it. Just go through it.
I truly don't think there's
get
a
that
better
out of the
answer.
way.
You just do it. You have to do it constantly, depending on, like, you're probably not trying to be a world-class professional fighter. If someone's trying to be like a world-class professional, you need to compete every fucking week at minimum. Like everybody talks about how wrestlers are the best base for MMA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard this before?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't agree with that actually.
Okay.
But what wrestling does bring is these guys have hundreds of competitions. Bo Nickel, for instance, has competed on very high level matches, very high pressure matches. He's got scholarships on the line. He's got, all of Penn State watching him to win this match, right? He's felt this pressure before numerous times in a safer environment too. But he's felt that many, many times. So now he knows how to prep himself. He knows how to mentally be prepared. He knows what it's going to feel like. He knows, things aren't going to go right every time, right? He knows the mental game of it. This is what wrestlers bring to the table more so than anything else, in my opinion.
They've just done a lot more fucking reps.
More reps, bro. And that's why I said there's no replacement for experience. That you can't, I can't tell someone, like, like once you do it enough, like you start realizing like it's all the same. The local fight that you did down at Joe Schmo's barbecue grill in a cage is not different than the UFC. The UFC has way more smoke and mirrors, right? They have a big production. They're going to show your face on the big screen. They're going to have lights. They're going to have a crowd yelling. That's the difference. What happens inside the cage is the exact fucking same. Now, I mean, you're obviously going to be fighting a better guy. Most likely, like, you know, I fought guys before I was in the UFC that were in the UFC before. In my third pro fight, I fought Pete Spratt, who had like 50 or 60 fights. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I could have been in the UFC fighting him. You know what I mean? And honestly, it wouldn't have been any different except the smoke and mirrors.
Kind of reminds me of sales calls, man. Like, so I've been running my business for the last 4.5 years. That first calls I'd get on, I was nervous. I was an idiot. I was trying to become best buddies with the guy on, you know, and I couldn't close a deal for shit. Like I just wasn't good at it. But now, like 1,000 of those later, like I can do it in my sleep.
In your sleep,
and that doesn't mean I don't prepare. That doesn't mean I don't still like mentally, you know, get in the right frame and whatnot. But like my 1,000th versus whatever, and Hormozy talks about that. I mean, he's done like 10,000 of those.
Yeah, he talks about it a lot.
You know,
I love that dude. Dude.
It's reps. It really is reps. So I think that's a great answer, and I love that it relates to a lot of things. Same with music, right?
People, I mean, reps is more in music than anything else.
Exactly.
But you know, the people think that they can replicate it in a gym too. And that's where people fuck up a lot.
It's not the same.
It is so not the same. You cannot replicate it in a gym.
I learned so much more sparring and just moving around than any drill, any pad, any bag, anything. It's all technique and whatever until someone's trying to kick you in the face. And then it's like, and then I get kicked in the face and I'm like, I'm going to try to avoid, I might actually need to block that next time or I'm dead.
And that's where the drilling and training is for, right? And that's, you know, I work with a lot of fighters, and you know what I try to explain to them is like what they ask. We try to learn what sparring is for. Too many people use sparring as a way to prep for a fight, in the sense of to get the feel of a fight. And I'm like, you're not going to get that. That's
only a fight will get you there.
Only a fight will get you there. And if you're not mentally tough enough to fight, then just don't fight, motherfucker. Right? If you know, like, go do my social media for me, right? Like, teach, or you could teach, right?
Yeah.
Teach us, whatever. So what we need to be using sparring for is to see where the holes are. That's what we need to rep more. That's what we need to drill more, right? And, you know, I'd make a lot of analogies to music. And if I'm playing a whole song and I keep fucking up this one part, what do? I play that fucking part.
Yeah.
You know, or I find a drill, or, you know, there's million different drills. Maybe it's a string skipping thing or an arpeggio or something. It's like there's a million drills specific to that. You can do the same thing in sparring.
Yep. What's the difference between martial skills and martial arts?
You read up. Yeah. So we have a lot of martial skills in the gym. That's exactly what we're talking about here. Even sparring it should be a martial skill, right? And that's why I don't actually even like calling my gym martial arts, even though, you know, we have to. It's normal.
For sure.
If I put martial skill, everybody like, what the fuck is that place? Right. But it's not an art until you're expressing it freely. When you express it freely, that's in a fight. It's the same as like saying I'm a musician, but you're just like reading tabs and playing cover songs.
Yeah.
Like, are you really a musician? Like, no. Like, until you are like improvising over a fucking 1-4-6 progression, it's like, no, you're not really a musician yet.
It's like everyone thinks they can be a quarterback if they throw the football, but there's so much more to being a QB than throwing a football.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, yeah, great example, right? Even so I look at I can get real far around that hole
for
here.
It, bro.
So there's a golfer, or if you see golfers, right? Like, there's a long drive competitions. They're never the fucking best golfers, right? Because they're not the best at expressing that skill. But something. So there's also what I call open and closed skills, right? And this is a thing from music also. So a closed skill would be like playing Mozart, right? Or doing a cover song, right? And that's more of a closed skill. Golf is more of closed skill. Bowling is sort of more closed skill, right? And then there's like an open skill, which is more like sparring or fighting, you know, kickboxing. Like tennis would be considered closer on the spectrum. It is a spectrum, closer on the spectrum to like an open skill, because the ball could be coming at different angles all the time, so you have to react and things like that. So when you look at a fight, wrestling, grappling are more close skilled, right? Like if I grab your,
It's kind of binary. It's like
it's way more binary.
I either got you taken down or not.
In that sense, yes, but also even in the actual skill, the technique. Like there's a limited ways that I can do techniques in grappling, right? If I go, say I want to do a knee pick and I don't get an underhook, like I cannot win that knee pick. I don't know if you know what a knee pick is.
I actually don't know.
Like if I do like a double leg, right, and my head is down, like unless you suck, like I'm not getting the double leg.
I got you.
Right? Like you might fall because you're a fat fucking old fuck, right? That happens. But, if I'm talking about, two skilled people here, right? If I, so there's like a progression when you're doing grappling, right? If I want to arm bar you, I have to grab your arm a certain way, and there's, multiple ways to do it, but I have to have control of the arm. I have to get my hips around, push your head with the legs, lift the hips on the elbow. In striking, there's so little of that. Like when Machida came in the UFC, I was like, dude, this guy's his fucking hands aren't up. He does fucking karate. He's a fucking nerd. Yeah. And he became world champion, right? There is no right and wrong, right? That's, again, it's a spectrum. But in terms of striking, like you can be way more free with everything.
There's so many people with different styles,
different
flows.
Where you can only go
when you
so
see Michael
far
Venom Page in there with the point stuff.
Yes.
It's completely different.
And you can only go so far with that in grappling, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see like crazy different styles. There might be different outcomes that people are looking for. Like Hamza fighting DDP, he wasn't really looking for a finish. Whereas like Charles Oliveira, he's going to go for that submission right away, right? But it's still like way more closed up of a skill. Whereas in striking, this is what I teach my people. Okay, if my goal was to hit you and I hit you, then I didn't do it wrong. It doesn't matter if I do it like this, swinging my arm wildly, or if I do it perfect like this.
Yeah.
What would be called perfect. Like I still hit you.
Mm-hmm.
Now that doesn't work in grappling, right? I can't say, as long as you got him to tap, or as long as you, extended his arm, then you did it right. It's like it's only working because the dude is horrible.
Yeah.
Or
I get
you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work that way. There are specific mechanics you absolutely have to do.
So going back to it, then you would say that striking is more of an art.
Absolutely.
And
it's still like, grappling is absolutely as much of an art. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I don't even know how I got on that tangent, so when you talk about arts versus skills, again, if you're not expressing these, I think I just kind of got on that tangent because it's been on my mind a lot lately.
For sure. No,
I wanted to like kind of write it up or something, but what we're doing in a gym, I think just changing that mentality for myself helped me also when, because I used to be that guy that would go in and like his balls to the wall every time. Like I'm fighting every day. I don't give a fuck. No respect for my partners. But then when I kind of changed the mentality to like, okay, all I'm practicing is the art. And if I'm only practicing the art, like I'm not going to get better at the skills. Right. So now I look at the gym. This is skill training. This is what we're here for. We're not here to express our art. That's what the fight is for.
That's a beautiful way to look at it, man. I've never heard it like described like that.
So then next time you spar, if you're thinking about I'm training my skills and you focus on those skills, then you actually stay focused on those skills. And you're not, because it's so easy, particularly striking. That's kind of where I was getting with that, being that it is so much of a more open skill. It is more difficult to do because you can be a lot more expressive and more artistic, so to speak, with it. They're more wild and free with it, right? And you can get away with that a lot of times. Whereas if you try to take that into grappling, and that's why when you see like jiu-jitsu training, like if you go to Brazil and do jiu-jitsu training, they do it basically the way Americans do. Like it's rep, roll. If you go to Muay Thai and in Thailand, like, they're doing basically the same stuff all the time, right? They're kicking the bag, but they're doing all those skills constantly, right? Versus the kind of what I'm getting at. Okay, so you go to Thailand, they're not going to teach you how to do it, right? They're going to say kick the bag 100 times, right? Whereas in jiu-jitsu, it's going to be like, okay, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do that. You get what I'm getting at?
Totally get it.
It's not because like you can do the Muay Thai, even if you watch Muay Thai, which is, I would argue is more close skilled than say MMA, striking wise. Like every gym does it different. You could go to 10 different gyms and you're going to have 10 different answers on how to do it. But if you're watching Muay Thai as a layman person, you have no idea that they're doing different shit. It looks the fucking same.
Yeah.
Right?
They think a kick's a kick.
They have no clue, right? This guy's turning his hips over more. This guy's only kicking to get into a clinch. This guy's looking for sweeps, you know?
Totally. What was a mental practice that had the biggest impact on your performance that you think a lot of fighters overlook?
As a Man Thinketh. You read the book?
No. I've heard of it, though.
It's like 1 hour read, bro. Yeah,
okay.
Brilliant book.
I'll add that to the list.
I mean, it's simple. The title describes it. As a man thinketh, so he is. That was the mental practice that changed me, because I think I used a lot of negative language a lot of times. I still have to force myself not to do it, right? But just changing that language, simple things like I'm gonna try my best versus I'm gonna go do that shit. Simple things like that, or I want to get better at this, or I will get better at this,
or like I am.
It's simple, like it's not easy, right? But simple, and it's not complex at all. And when you start moving along that path, recognizing your own language, you start hearing it in other people's languages so much. And you're like, wow, like that's why you're at where you are right now.
Totally.
You see it like that.
So much of it, and that's why it's all related. And that's why I am gravitating a lot more towards the martial skills,
Yeah.
but it's...
Well, you're going to fight, so you're going to do some...
For sure, but until then, I can't say art, I'm not an artist yet.
I like it.
But... it's so all-encompassing in that, it starts with that actual belief, and then it's framing your mind and actually believing, I am the type of person to wake up early as fuck and go get kicked in the face. I am the type of person who's going to get up and do the little 1% habits and keep doing it. And then
and you mentioned it earlier. It's just brainwashing.
Yeah.
Is all it is.
Yeah.
And that word comes with a bad
negative
stigma.
Connotation for sure, but it can be really positive. Actually, we need to do positive brainwashing, and that I believe in that. I used to think it was woo woo bullshit.
Also, we are brainwashed, me and you and everybody else on this planet. But it's a matter of you want to choose your brainwashing,
choose your programming. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we're all fucking there, bro.
Yeah. No, totally, bro.
Unless you're like the Buddhist monks, right? That's it. That's their entire path to enlightenment, is to get away from that, right?
100%. But us living not in pure enlightenment in a cave somewhere, I do think that we have a lot more control over that subconscious mind than we think.
Very much.
And it starts with the inputs. It starts with, how are you starting your day? Are you scrolling on Instagram? Who are you surrounding yourself with? One of the big things when I just stopped drinking, I'd still go out with friends and stuff, and I just wouldn't drink. And it would trigger a lot of people. Nah, dude, have a fucking shot. What are you doing? No, I'm good, bro. It would bother them.
Yeah.
And then I also had to realize then myself. I'm like, yo, are some of these people even really do they have my best interests at mind, or are they just drinking buddies?
Sure.
And so I'm sure you had a lot of that when you decided to, get clean and move towards a different path. Go back there for a little bit. Tell me about what some of those, maybe it wasn't as clear and concise and philosophical as it might be now.
It was not.
but back then, what was that road like?
I just made the choice, man. I mean, God, I could go into so many different stories and stuff, because I kept trying different ways. Again, coming from such a small town and just a overall negative mindset. I was just looking for something, anything to get me away from where I was at. I just didn't like myself. I didn't like who I was around, but it's literally all that I seen. I didn't know that there was another way.
Right.
And I'd never seen a skyscraper till I was over 20, you know what I mean? So, this was the only mentality that I knew. And so it was difficult. I tried joining the military, they wouldn't let me in. I tried like moving out of the town. I tried moving to Florida once, like just literally anything I could. I was like, I know this isn't what I want to do, but I'm doing it because it's just such low hanging fruit, right? It's just so easy, and and you get bored and
Yeah,
all these
something to
different
do,
reasons.
man, when
Yeah,
you're from small town.
yeah, yeah, and then, like all these little things. So it was just a matter of making that decision, and like I discovered the fighting. So I discovered it in 2002, I believe. I think I was 22 years old. Trying to do math, I'm not very good at it. But either way, I discovered it, and then I fought twice, like on the cocaine and all that, and then I hadn't trained or anything. And then finally, I decided, I want to do this. Actually, so okay, I'll just give you the story, right? We got time.
Yep.
So I won twice, and then the third time, so I had 2 fights in one night, and the third fight, which was the second in one evening, the guy beat the shit out of me, like terribly bad. Like it was just, he's like ready to go pro. I'm a guy coked up thinking that that's what's going to win me the fight, right? Like, a street fighter. It just pieced me up. So we're in the back, and he's like, bro, he's like, I don't know how I couldn't knock you out. Like, you're a tough son of a bitch. Like, where you train at? I was like, train. I was like in my grass in the backyard. Like, I don't know. I go for runs every now and then. He said, bro, you need to get to a gym. So I went to a gym about 2 weeks later. So I had to move out of this little town that I was in. I was staying with this girl, and then I had to move, stayed with my brothers. They lived in Columbus. And I just I forced myself. So I'm going to get to a gym, a real gym. Went in there, and I just got blessed, man. I walked into the right place at the right time. Mark Coleman's Hammer House guys were in there training. My coach, as of still today, my Muay Thai coach, he was visiting Columbus from Thailand at the time. That's where his family was. He lived in Thailand for like 20 years, but he was back home at that time. So he's still my coach as of today.
Wow.
And, yeah, we're like best friends ever since. And he travels the world all the time. But I was blessed to just be in the right place at the right time. There was the highest level guys in Columbus were there right then. And then, I sparred with those guys that day, which they loved because I was like, fuck yeah, let's spar. They're like, fresh meat, let's go. But that's when I kind of knew that I had a chance, right? Because, okay, so when I fought, I won, and then again, eventually I lost, right? But when I lost, it didn't really sink in how bad I was, right? Because I was like, I could have done this or I could have done that, right? But when I went to the gym and sparred with these guys, they beat the fuck out of me. And I'm like, okay, well, next round I'm going to do this, right? He's not going to be able to stop that. And they get the same thing happens. He beats the fuck out of me again. Next round, maybe I'm going to switch up. This just continues on and on. I'm like, okay, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, right? So it was like the best thing ever happened. So anyway, the point is that week I just decided, or that day I walked in and I said, this is what I'm doing. And I'm going to make it or I'm going to die trying. But this is the path that I'm going.
So I'll start with that actual clear decision with yourself. Mm-hmm. And then everything else led to that. Yep. Then the actions followed.
Yep. When you know your why, you can make anyhow, right?
Love it, man. Switching over a little bit, man, I want to talk about, something that you mentioned to me as well is like really important to you is, fatherhood.
Oh, yeah.
How's that changed your life? You got 3 kids. Talk to me about that.
How's it changed my life? I don't remember what it was like before them. Yes. I don't remember what sleep is anymore. No, I'm blessed, man. I have some of the greatest kids ever. I have twin boys that are 14. I'll be 15 in a month, and my daughter will be 10 next week, actually. So,
wow.
I hit the jackpot with them, man. Beautiful kids, healthy as hell, easy to work with, except, girls are a little bit more difficult, but excuse me. And that doesn't change when they get older. So, it kind of is what it is. It didn't really, actually, it kind of fucked me up a little bit when I had kids. Because, a lot of these people, okay, well, going back to that quote that I keep saying, right? When you know your why, you can find anyhow. My why became my kids. And it actually fucked me up.
Right, because now fighting is number 2.
No. Like fighting was still,
still number 1?
It's a different number 1.
Okay.
Right, when you have kids and wife and all that. But no, it put this negative pressure on me. Now I felt like I had to win. Right now I didn't have that same feeling of like, I'm doing this for me and I love this and all that. Now I had the kids and I'm like, my brother, they need fucking food on their table. You know, like the UFC doesn't pay that much. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know this. Like you're not getting rich in the UFC unless you're a champion. Even then, it's not, you know, it's so, right? But anyway, so I'm like, bro, if I lose this fight, like, you know, my kids aren't going to get their private school or, you know, or whatever it is, right? You know, there's always another thing that kids are going to bring to the table financially. So I had this negative pressure on me. Actually, that's when I lost 3 in a row. And it was all that. It was just my kids. And the way that I gave it up was I was like, when I lost the 3 in a row, I thought I was going to be getting cut, right? And they gave me another chance. And I said, well, you know, I'm getting another chance here. So fuck it. If I win, I win. If not, I got to figure something else out. Back to the fucking factory, right? And that release of freedom.
You detach from the outcome.
Yes. And I fought so much better. Felt so much better.
I hate to keep relating it back to sales, but that was the switch for me.
Yeah.
When I needed the deal. I needed to close it. I had to get that money because I didn't want to work this job.
That desperate energy.
People feel that.
Feels, right?
People feel it, dude. But the minute I let go of that and I like program my brain to be like, go, I'm actually here to help this person. Like on the call. Like they're in pain. I want to help them. Like actually believing that myself.
Yes, sir.
I started to close.
Yes,
and
sir.
I started to get some success. And it's the same thing. It's all related.
It's all the same, bro.
It's all the same, man.
It's all the same. Just like business, like every business is the same. Like, you know, there's like, somebody needs to write a book on this. You know, there's like principles that just
spans through dating,
spans through everything,
art. That's why I'm like kind of obsessed with the concept right now. Those 3 identities, like the identity of the athlete, the entrepreneur, and the artist, because they all express differently, but the same.
It's all the same. Yeah,
it is all the same at like its core, but like they're expressed outwardly differently.
Sure,
you know what I mean? Kind of like you were talking about before, but.
Yeah, there's no different. Like I would say I have a similar sort of identity thing. And I got really good also when I had my kids about switching it on and off. You know, before I had kids, like if I came home and there's a problem, you know, especially after like a hard day of training, maybe you got beat up in training, you're just dead tired, whatever, here's a problem. I'm like, shut the fuck up and get, you know what I mean? Like you can't do that with your kids, right? So, you know, I'd come home and there'd be problems and I just had to learn how to shut that off, you know, and a lot of like meditative stuff and visualization, you know, like I would visualize like an actual light switch in my head, you know, like shut that part of your brain off, you know, silly stuff like that.
Dude, talk to me about that because I actually really struggle with visualization. This is one thing that I've heard every champion, every fighter, every business mogul, everyone talks about sitting and visualizing. And I feel like I start to do it, like I can close my eyes and I could think of some shit, but then I get distracted and I'm like, man, fuck this bullshit. I really want to get good at it. Like, how do you visualize? I feel so dumb saying this on the show, but I feel like I get to ask someone who actually does it.
Well, first, I will say again, I believe I'm like blessed with stoicism and like anti-ADD. If anything, like I'm too patient and too chill about things. So, you know, I'll start with that. But visualization is still not easy though. And it's not easy for anyone. It's a skill. And that's where I think people kind of expect that it's just going to happen. It's a skill, just like playing music, just like playing, they don't play Muay Thai, but like practicing Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu. It's a skill. The first day you do it, you're going to suck at it. You know, and I kind of feel like I'm preaching to the choir here. Like, you know all this stuff, but I feel like you probably just haven't applied it to that particular skill.
Yeah.
Right? Because you expected, like, you sucked at it and you're like, dude, well, I'm not good at this. It's like, well, do it again tomorrow, motherfucker.
Right.
And like, do it again tomorrow.
But I got no problem in like the real world doing. Like I'm very good at action and just doing. And just like if I set my mind, I will do it. It's more so like picturing that it's done before I've done it.
So I don't believe in that stuff.
Okay.
Though. No, I, like, like I use it for like specific things, like actions. Not really. It's about like mindset switch type things.
Okay. So like, you know, you go from this headspace to another one in a second.
Yeah, like the whole concept of like visualization helping you physically. I'm not a huge. I know there's been some studies on and stuff, right? Like basketball players hitting free throws and they visualize.
I've heard
piano
that,
players, this kind of stuff. Look, if the science says it's true, I'm sure it's true. I was never big on that either.
Okay,
you know, that's not really my thing. I'm like, why would I visualize fucking throwing basketballs when I can just go throw a fucking basketball? You know, like they just be lazy. That's always been
my default like framework and programming. I'm like, I'd rather just, instead of just sitting here just closing my eyes, like thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, but I've heard that if fucking like people do that shit. I don't
I'm
know.
sure it can work for that. I use it as a mindset thing, right? Because if I want to go throw those free throws, I need to be in the right mindset to do it.
Yep.
So I can't get in the right mindset by just going and throwing free throws, right? My brain is going to do what it wants to do. But I believe I can train my brain through visualization to feel a certain way or think a certain way, whether it's releasing dopamine or, you know, whatever fuck kind of serotonin or whatever, you know, happens there. But so I would use it, you know, in that instance, in the sense of, you know, when I see my kids, right, you know, or if I've used it in the past where, you know, in relationships, like I had toxic girlfriends or not the best girlfriends, so to speak, right? And I'd be able to like visualize being in that situation and say, okay, like my brain, I'm just going to reset my brain, you know, so it's not, and then you don't end
It's
up.
more like changing your state.
Yes.
Just
yes.
like in an instant,
Yeah.
like you can decide, like
Yeah.
going back to the emotions thing, it's like you actually can just make a decision to, all right, I'm not going to feel this way.
Yeah.
Like I can choose to, you like, okay,
There's
if
a
someone
lot
cuts you off in a second, you're going to be like raging. But like what I have found is like, I can then just kind of laugh it off. You know, I can just switch right away. But a lot of other people, I find that they fucks up their day.
Yeah.
Like,
And a lot of it is, you know, using triggers is what they call it, like you know, in the brain, you know, so like you might, you know, snap your finger or like do this or something. And if you visualize doing that and your brain resets, then when you do it, you know, and part of it I really think is, you know, it's probably not even like scientific. It's just your brain has something else to focus on now. You know, and again, you talk about that 1% better every day. It's probably like a 0.1% thing. Like do 10 of those, right? And then you get to the 1%, right? So you know, maybe it's good, maybe not, but I also have really enjoyed the visualization part for the recovery too. Like I could literally feel like say my ACL when I had it torn and I'm laid up. I mean, there's nothing you can do, right? Like you're just laid up and you know, you can't really walk anywhere, you're on crutches, etc. But I could visualize like healing proteins and enzymes going to this knee. And you actually feel like something going there. Yeah, maybe it's real, maybe it's not, but like placebo is as real as anything. So I don't give a fuck. And then I also, while I'm injured, you know, I could sit there and this is when I got really good at visualizing matches, right? And I could visualize, and what I would not visualize is what I would do. Right? I would not visualize like him doing this and I do this, or I do this and he does that. I'd visualize what's my mindset, right? And again, it's all about
what's your state walking in.
Yes.
How are you feeling? What do you? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then how do I, you know, maybe you know, I guess I would a little bit, right? Maybe he hits me real hard. How do I reset my brain and get back in the game? You know, things like this.
That's powerful, man. Yeah, no, I've torn my Achilles before, and I remember when I didn't even know I tore it. A few days I was hopping around. I'm like, this shit's kind of hanging. That's a little weird. And I remember I go to the doctor. They're like, yeah, it's like you tore it completely. You need to go into surgery like ASAP.
It didn't pop?
It did, but I thought I was playing football, and I thought like I was playing tight end that day, and it was just a pickup game, dude. I was not playing legit football. I was playing some flag shit with some friends. And I just did a cut, and I thought the football just hit the back of my leg really hard. But I saw the football over there. I'm like, that didn't really make sense, but whatever. Hobble off the field or whatever. A few days go by, and I'm like, man, I send like a photo to my physio. I'm like, is this normal? Like, it's kind of, he's like, get to the hospital right now. I go, and yeah, it was fully torn. And I only say that because, dude, I didn't, like, they told me I needed surgery. I was like, well, like, why? Like, I'm not a pro. Like, what is the benefit of getting the surgery versus the risk? They're like, well, we sew it back together and it starts healing. I'm like, yeah, but what if I don't? Well, it just starts healing. I'm like, so what's why should I go through the risk of infection? This, that, anything could go wrong in the surgery. I've had them before, so I'm like, why do I need that? And so I decided not to get it. I did my own research, and yeah, I believed in just
how long ago was that?
This was like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
How does it feel now?
It's completely fine. I mean, it's thick. It's like it's this fat compared to my other ones.
You're back stronger, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, maybe I can't do the same speed I used to be able to do, but like whatever. But I just healed it. on my own. And the power of the mind, like I really believed it. And then like within a few months, like they told me like, you're going to have to be in this boot for like this long. I'm like, no, fuck this boot. After like a couple weeks, I'm like putting pressure on it. And I believe in the healing powers of the human body, like not for everything. I'm not anti-surgery. I'm just saying like, you can heal yourself and you can, and within a few months I was hiking. I wasn't fast, but I was able to move. And now, I mean, I can still move for a bigger dude. Like I can hop around.
Impressive, bro. Like Achilles is no joke. Was it a full tear?
It was like 98%. Yeah, that's what the surgeon said. And he's
That's
like, dude, you
amazing,
need
bro.
to go get surgery. You need to get this fucking, and I'm like, nah, man. Like, why are you telling me you just want a new Beamer,
Sure.
don't you?
Yeah.
Like, you're incentivized to do the surgery.
Yeah.
You
Was
know?
that in America or
That was in
Colombia?
Canada, but still.
Okay, yeah.
But still. Okay, man. So I want to kind of switch gears a little bit to like why you're in Colombia in the first place, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me.
Yeah, I came here to get some stem cells from cell rejuvenation. Rustin brought me down here. It's been a great experience, man. I've been wanting to get stem cells for a long time. I've actually had stem cells a few times in America in the past. But once he kind of explained to me like the science behind it, the amazing stuff they're doing here, and how just revolutionary and or I don't know, not even revolutionary, but like the way that they're just pioneering this whole thing, man. And you know, Rustin's like such a on top of a guy. You know, he's on top of it with business. He's on top of it with the stem cells. Yes, I had to get down here, man. Had to make it happen.
What from what you understand, obviously knowing you're not a doctor or whatever, but like what is the main difference between getting stem cells in like, let's say the US or down here in Colombia?
So apparently, you know, there's only a few places in the world that will produce their own stem cells right there on the spot. And I guess all of them in America, you know, don't quote me on that, but I believe just about all of them in America are going to be getting them frozen, right? And the sourcing is obviously going to have something to do with that. Everything's regulated there, which again, you know, I think there's some people are going to want that, right? They want the stricter regulations
They
from
want
American,
the FDA stamp.
Yeah. Which, you know, I don't know why anybody would want that, but you know, I think stem cells have been, they were life-changing for me. You know, I can give a testimony on that for sure. But I think like we kind of know what they are now. We know these motherfuckers work, right? Like we know stem cells are legit. They're going to change your life.
Everyone, I mean, Joe Rogan, everyone talks about it all the time. They're just getting shot up with billions of these stem cells that regenerate and heal your body.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish, you know, I don't, I want to say that again. I got no regrets, but you know, when I go back and think about my football career and whatnot, I'm like, if I had stem cells back then, you know, maybe it would have been a different path. But you know, again, I don't want to change anything because we're sitting here today because of that. But you know, the fact that that's an option for people is huge.
Yeah, man, and it's odd to me like that people would be okay. Like in America, you know, people eat regular burgers they don't know what the hell they put in these cows, right? But the FDA says it's okay. Right. And we're like, bro, we know that shit's fucked up what y'all's putting in them cattle, bro. Like, you know, I mean, I eat it too, you know, but when you're doing something as high level as stem cells, like, dude, do you want the best source or no? You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck what that BA says. Like, all they're doing is just making it more difficult to get the really good shit. Just like they make it difficult to get the more organic shit, right? Like, it's, you know, it's a mess. So anyway, so come here and, you know, get the stem cells. Just got some exosomes today. Man, he told you the numbers too. I can't remember, like 15 billion,
something
I think.
In the B's for sure, billions.
Yeah, I think it's 15 billion exosomes and 100 million stem cells on top of that intravenously this time. And then I love the way that they do it here because they don't just bring you down, just give you a shot and send you home, right? I've been working with Rustin already for like 3 or 4 months. You know, I had to send my blood work, I had to send MRIs and history. They want to screen for cancer, right? Because if you got a tumor and they give you a bunch of stem cells, it's going to fucking feed that tumor, right? So, you know, it's really smart the way they do it. And then I get here, and this time is actually a prep for my body to make sure we're optimizing everything. So when we actually do the full stem cell site injections, we're getting the most out of it. So I love what he's doing, man, and I really appreciate him passing on that knowledge. I'm sure you'll probably have him on sometime to pass some
Absolutely.
of that knowledge, man, because it's amazing stuff. And he'll tell you, like, the one thing I like about him is he's not a salesman either. He'll tell you he's not the only person that does this, but he believes he's the best, right? And he'll give you the reasons himself. I can't regurgitate that because it'll get regurgitated into vomit. So, yeah.
No, it's beautiful, man. And look, we're not sponsored or anything on this show, but I would say always try to take your health into your own hands when you can, man. And like what I can say is coming down here, and I've been down here in Colombia for some time. The quality of healthcare is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And coming from a Canadian who had to wait 8 months to get an MRI just to find out what's wrong with my shoulders, my knees, my whole body fucked up. You got to wait so long if it's not life threatening. It's like, but this is threatening my life.
Your quality of life,
my quality of life, but not me being alive. It's a triage system, right? So it's like they got to prioritize. I understand that, and that's why it's quote unquote free, but it's not free. I'm paying for it every day, and my taxes and everything. We won't get into all that, but I will say, just coming down to Colombia, just anything from blood tests, peptides, anything, like you need it, you got it, and it's quick. It's dental, anything. It's cheap. It's high quality. It's not like you're coming down here and it's just like Bush League in the back of someone's truck. They're just...
Well, that's what surprised me about Colombia coming here. I mean, you kind of know it as a third world country that Escobar ran, right? That's the American vision of Colombia. And I got here and I was like, this place is freaking beautiful, man. Wait a minute. Like it's really developed, like great infrastructure.
Dude,
like
I would I've actually thought about this. I'm like, if I had kids, I would not mind raising them here. Actually, because
I'm sure they have international private schools.
They have international schools. Yeah. It's a lot safer than people think. Obviously, don't be an idiot wherever you go. Don't be an idiot. Don't be out late at night, like drunk, out of your mind, taking drinks from people, whatever, right? You run that risk if you're doing dumb things,
sure,
right? But I mean, I feel more safe here than I do back home where I'm from. The only person I know who's ever been involved in a drive-by shooting is from my hometown. It doesn't so I'm not gonna sit here and say blanket statement, everything's gonna be all right. I'm a big brown dude, all right? So maybe I'm a bad target. But what I will say is overall, just living down here has been incredible, bro.
Well, I've been all around the world, and there's so many places people tell me are not safe, and I'm like, these people that are saying it's not safe, I'd just like to know who they are. Like, you walking around with a Rolex, motherfucker? Like, yeah, that's why you ain't safe. Or you're the guys, look, wolves look for sheep, right? They're not looking for the wolves. If you walk around properly, they don't want a battle, man. They're not looking like you're not gonna run into Escobar here in the cartel and be like, oh, you're white? We'll fucking kill you, right?
No.
It just doesn't work that way anywhere. I've been to Mexico and they talk about these sketchy places and they're like, bro, watch out for the cartel. I'm like, bro, look, I'm not wearing anything that's showing that I'm gonna fucking I need to be robbed, you know what I mean? But I'm also not gonna be a little bitch and back down.
For sure.
And it's like, they don't want that shit either.
For sure.
They got their own shit to deal with. They got their own life, man.
Yeah.
They got, you know what I mean? They got other people to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
100%, man. And, when it comes to, life after fighting now, you're still, you've got a gym, right? You've
two of them.
You've got 2 gyms. Talk to me about those.
Yeah, man. That's my life's passion now, man. I'm wanting to build something for, one of the reasons, I guess, to have steady income, right? Because in the UFC, you get lump sums and you make it last. And I was like, bro, I need something just get paid per month, something recurring,
right?
Even if it's low amount, I don't care. But also, I mean, even more so than that is to pass on to the next generation. When I first opened my gym, it was really about, having my buddies there and having fighters, and we had a cage in there and we're beating each other up, having a great time. And it wasn't too long, man. I started seeing people coming in, losing weight, right? And then I see relationships getting better. I see, people getting sober, right? I see kids' self-esteem growing. I'm watching kids grow up into, little boys into men, little girls that are confident, I said, man, this fighting shit, I don't even care about, bro. This means so much more. When I remember the first time, we had a team, we brought the whole team to a tournament of kids, and we had like 2 gold medals. And like it warmed my heart more than you winning a UFC fight. Like watching this kid, just come from, you nothing really. And I always say nothing like poverty, but I mean nothing in terms of martial arts, and comes in and, 6 months later he's getting a gold medal.
Wow.
And that's just a really warm
And
feeling.
it changes the trajectory of their whole life. And
It's a fork in the road for him, bro.
100%.
Yeah. There's one kid that really, it was kind of the final straw for me. I got rid of my cage right after that. This kid, he was, bullied in school. He come in, his mom's like crying, and, she's like, I need you to help him, please. And the first thing I usually tell parents, like, you got to help him first. Like, you got him 23, we got him 20, we got him 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's only so much we could do. But this kid, I mean, I could tell she was a single mom, lower income. I couldn't even afford, and she's like basically crying, begging us to help. Kid wouldn't look us in the eyes, his head's down. But anyway, so I think I had like a tour or something I had to go to, but I came back, like it wasn't even 2 weeks later, and I was gone, and I come back in 2 weeks, and this kid's chest is puffed up, and, fist bumps, I just seen her like, hey, how's he doing, whatever, and she's like, oh, this is like the greatest thing ever, she was just like in tears again, and it made me, water up a little bit, what I mean? I was like, damn, like this is the power that I have with this fucking stupid business that I just want to make some money and
just fight
fuck
with your
up my
boys.
guys, right? So that's when I kind of changed everything. I was like, so now we do a lot of community outreach. We do a lot of schools and try to help them, and it's a lot about the kids, and again, I've seen just so many positive things come. One thing I said is like we don't need like recovery centers anymore. We don't need AA meetings. We don't need church. We don't need any of it. We need martial arts centers everywhere. That's all we need. Yeah, religious people hate me for that, but whatever. It's like, dude, this is the most powerful thing that there is.
So does that give you that same fire now, or is it a different type of
It's
fire?
a different fire for sure. Yeah, because there's when you talk about motivation, right? There's like fear driven, and then there's we either
Desire.
we run towards reward, or towards reward or from punishment, right? I think a lot of the motivation when fighting was like from punishment, right? Whereas now I'm running towards reward, and I use the from punishment type of behavior is way more powerful.
Yeah, it makes you, yeah.
It's like you're gonna run way faster from a cop,
yeah,
when you're a kid than you are to the donut shop.
Yeah, what's that analogy? It's like getting chased by a cat versus just trying to go after some cheese or some shit like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
I definitely
I'm sure there's
butchered
like
that.
I'm sure there's like
a better way to say it, but whatever.
Yeah, I know there's like a million analogies there, I'm sure, but that's so now I get asked that question a lot, and the drive is just so much different. It's just a different definition, It is running towards a reward, and and I see the beauty of what I have and what we can do, and you kind of when I'm fighting, or when I was fighting, and when other guys fight, you kind of forget like how many people care and how many people are watching, and because we're so wrapped up in our bubble of just fucking fight, train, push, next day, so you kind of forget all this stuff. And then as I've been running this gym and, doing a lot more seminars, traveling around the world and stuff, there's a lot more of, we're doing retreats and things like that. There's a lot more, I'm recognizing like how powerful these martial arts are and how much it can really touch people, change their lives.
Yeah, it's like you had tunnel vision before on this like laser focus on this goal, on this mission, on this why. But now I feel like the why, just from how you're explaining it, is expanded.
That's
to
a good
like,
point,
like how many more people can I impact with this?
Yeah.
And going back to the butterfly effect, how many lives can then, they then affect?
Yeah,
not just you, but them.
Yeah.
How many can they empower? And like I had this
That's a good one,
small moment where one day my trainer couldn't show up or something just happened. We miscommunicated, whatever. He was late or something. And my buddy told him to come train with me. And I'm learning. I'm a fucking noob in this shit. I've done some boxing and stuff, but I'm brand new to this. But I like remembered my years of lessons with different trainers that like I value so much. Like they're my brothers, And I'm like, well, fucking, we got time here right now. Let me teach him. And I just remember in that moment just being able to pass like my little tiny little knowledge on to him, and how fucking good I felt after.
good,
I'm like,
yeah.
and he was like, yo, bro, thank you so much. Like, you know, I know how to throw like the cross better now. And like, yo, I feel really good about my pivot and this and that. And I'm like, damn, bro, like, I guess I have learned a thing or two if I can teach someone. And then imagine now 10 more years of this. And then I imagine, you know, if and when I have kids one day, you know, what am I going to instill in them? But that's a question for you. Like, have you ever like have you pushed your children towards martial arts at all, or no?
Yes, I push them to martial arts, and like I'm divorced and they live with their mom and me. So they're not, you know, they have two different kind of environments that they live in. But the thing is, like, I always encourage them to do positive things. Martial arts happens to be a positive thing. I encourage them to do other positive things also. I never look at it as my job as a parent to decide what they're going to do with themselves. It's my job in the business of adulting or raising a kid, you know, to teach them to be responsible, durable, resilient children or adults, right? To raise them to be adults, respectful, manners, things like that. It's not to tell them what to do with their life.
So do they train at your gyms?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sweet.
My
man.
one son is really big on it. My other son is more, he's actually a big golfer. And,
Oh, nice.
but he's got like 2 businesses now, and he works for me like on my
Nice.
business, like a sales, and he's one of our best salesmen, by the way.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. So,
and see,
just-
I love how all those skills, they do translate.
they all do.
You know,
Yeah.
that's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the retreats. You know, you were excited about that, and I'm excited about that when you told me about that, because I definitely want to. You know, I'd love to.
Look, you're in Colombia, so Costa Rica is not going to be a huge step up for you. That's where we do them at. But it's a nice though. It's a jungle versus kind of mountainous, right? It's more of a jungle, an ocean with surfing. So that's what I love. I love surfing.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I'm not good at it. Don't get me wrong, but I love being out there, and
Costa Rica's the best for that, right?
best,
Yeah.
bro. So yeah, we just spend the day doing cool things. You know, we train usually once or twice a day. You know, we go surfing, we'll go on excursions. Like we did fishing this year, caught an 80-pound tuna and ate it that night, you know, for sushi, you know.
That's primal, man. That feels good.
Bro.
Like get your own, yeah.
Yeah. You know, we do like breath work. Terry, the owner of the resort, he's a majorly good at breath work. Like he actually opened my eyes to some breath work stuff. I've done a lot of breath work over the years, but the stuff that he had us doing, I was like, oh, this is like, that's what it is. Right? Like, okay. I just didn't know that was kind of existed, the way that he did it. Yeah. So, you know, it's just about being out there, being positive and being with a good group of men and hanging out and getting better at martial arts and getting better as people and eating the most amazing freaking food you've had in your life.
Oh,
you know, as good as Colombia is, bro, it don't stack up, man. Like they got their, you know, they got private.
No, my business partner lives there, and he's been trying to get me to come up there.
Yeah, it's so nice. But particularly where this retreat is, that we do the retreats is at a hotel. He has staff there cooking the food. And,
oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, they'll go pick mangoes and then, you know, in the backyard and then
cut them up. How
and,
long is it? Like the retreat itself? Like
5-6 days. Usually,
okay,
yeah. Nice. I think we're doing 5 days next year. It might be 6.
Dude, count me in, man. I'm
Let's
so
go,
down,
bro.
I'm 100%. I'm 100% there.
Yeah, you'll love it, man. I mean, what better day can it be than like martial arts, surfing, and doing some man shit, you know,
that
like
just
hanging out
sounds,
with your boys, you know, and just relaxing.
Dude, and the vibration that sets like on your compass, you're just now, you come out of that, I'm sure, just like, all right.
It's beautiful.
Now I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that, dude. What's success look like for you in this next chapter?
Oh, man. Yeah. I hate the word success, honestly.
Tell me why.
Because it's not a real thing.
Okay. Why not?
You know, I don't hate the word success in the way, overall. I hate the way that people define success as if it's a finite point.
Okay.
And
like you just reach it. And you
like my day can be a success, and that's all I care about. Ultimately, I'd say the biggest success would be looking back when you're on your deathbed and being happy with what you did. Right. I talk to myself a lot. Get another visualization tool that I use is a coach taught me a long time ago, where we we talk to ourselves. The guy that's dying, you know, maybe he's 100 years old. It doesn't matter, right? The older guy. And what would he tell you to do in this situation?
Oof.
You know? And you start forgetting about that fucking like,
what are people going to think about me and all that bullshit?
That or, you know, shit that stresses you out. What's the old saying? Like, if it stresses you out for 5 minutes, or if it doesn't, if it's not going to affect you in 5 years, it shouldn't affect you for 5 minutes, right? I'm like, it just puts that into perspective. It's like, what, you know, think of something that you were stressed out about, you know, 10 years ago. You probably can't even fucking think of it, right? You know what I mean? But there was probably something, you know, like,
and it meant everything.
Meant everything that day.
Yeah.
And it fucking ruined your day.
Yeah.
And now it's like it didn't even happen.
My buddy told me the other day, he's like, we are meaning-making machines. We make meaning out of anything.
Yeah,
and if we make something this big-ass deal, and it, you know, ruins our day, and Hormozi even talks about this, like, instead of something that could, you know, I'm having a bad quarter. It's like, are you having a bad quarter, or like, were there just a few bad moments?
Sure.
But overall, it was a great quarter. Like, you know, I love that frame, because it's like, yeah, we all have shitty moments.
Yeah.
That's fine, but it's a moment. Let it fucking go.
Let
Move
it go,
on.
bro. And just defining like what means something to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes back to the kind of the Musashi, where, you know, when we talk about philosophy, you know, when I go back to the Musashi, you know, everything is within. So you get to decide what the meaning is, right? Some people choose religion. I think that's a very poor way, in my opinion. Whether you believe in God or not, I don't give a shit. But I think attaching yourself to religion can be very poor. I think it's a very weak way of doing things, because it's external meaning now. You know, but some people attach it to their kids, right? You see these people that, like, their kids are fucking everything to them, and they should be a lot, right? They should carry a lot of meaning, but they forget about themselves in the process.
In the process, yeah. Right? I see that a lot.
Yeah. You know, or people put too much meaning in, it could be, you see the stupidest things, like social media. You see put meaning in some fucking stupid TV show, right? You know, like I found myself doing that a little bit with Game of Thrones, right? Like it was like the greatest show ever, right? Until it wasn't, right? But you know, like I started noticing, and I kind of like stopped watching for a little while, because I was like, I put like way too much meaning in this, man. Like I'm feeling these emotions, you know, like, oh, that guy died, and I'm like fucking sad. Like, I don't want to be feeling that shit, bro. Like, that means I put too much meaning in it.
Dude, I used to watch a lot of NFL football, and it used to be like huge for me on Sunday, and then also Monday, and then also Thursday. And I looked at my life, and I'm like, I'm not where I want to be. And I haven't watched really a game in like 3-4 years. And I got people hitting me up, you want to do fantasy this? I'm like, man, fuck your fantasy, bro. I'm living in reality right now. And look, I'm not against, you know, if I go to a game, I'm going to one next weekend, so that's what I'm saying. But if I go watch a game in person, I'm spending time with people, that's for a different reason. But sitting in front of the couch and just, I was giving the Patriots too much of my energy.
Yeah, you're giving it meaning.
And I was like pissed when they'd lose. And I'm like, not one player knows who I am. They don't give a fuck. Like, why am I dictating my
As a matter
reality?
of fact, you probably cared more than a lot of them. I mean, you see that in the stadiums all the time. The fans care more than the players.
It's
but
crazy.
it's just, again, that's those fans putting meaning on that game.
Yep.
And it's like the players' meaning is like, I'm making money, motherfucker, and I'm doing something that's really cool.
100%.
You know, so where, you know, placing where we have our meaning, I think is hugely important. And it's easy to get strayed off of that, because, you know, we're attacked from all angles, and this goes back to the brainwashing, right? We got to be careful with what we brainwash, you know. So anybody, you know, we curate your fucking social media feeds, you know what I mean? Like, take care of that shit. Like, get Fox News and CNN off of that shit, you know what I mean? Like, you can push block.
Yeah.
You know, you can mute the shit or whatever it is. Like I love my social media. Like,
it's all showing
not my personal, but I mean, like I love scrolling social media. It's like positivity. Like, I got the best motherfuckers, bro.
Because you curated your algo to feed you only stuff that feeds you.
Dude, I get, like, sometimes I'll be like feeling bad or something. Like, I can go on social media and get fucking fired up, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a powerful tool. well, we know it's a powerful tool, but it could be used properly or improperly.
Dude, I used to, like, when I played football, I used to think it was the lamest thing ever to watch, like, motivational videos, right? Like, I used to think, because that was like the dogma at the time was like, bro, you don't need motivation. Motivation's bullshit. You got to find it out from within. And yeah, yes, there's some reality to that for sure. But lately, I don't like I don't really like waking up early, but I've been doing it and waking up and like prime my mind and kind of meditate, chill. I hang out with the birds for a little bit in the morning.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's so nice, man. And I never did this stuff before, but like having my few hours in the morning before the world is fucking the anxiety, all the shit, they all need me for X, Y, and Z. I just have a few hours of peace. I kind of understand my old man a bit more now, and like just sitting and just doing nothing and whatever. But I still don't. I don't necessarily enjoy waking up at 5. Like it's not really like that's not. I'm not fucking Jocko out here with or whatever. But it's like I'll before I go to training, like because I'm already up now. I know I'm gonna do it. Like whatever. But I'm still like coffee hasn't hit yet. Whatever. I'm like. Man, kind of dragging my ass, whatever. Dude, I'll throw on a YouTube video of like John Jones talking shit to DC or some shit, or just some like mashup of these like all these whatever Tom Brady making his own enemies or Michael Jordan just whatever. And it gets me fired up. And I go to MMA Colombia. I'm sitting there. I'm one of like the only people in the morning. And not to say, I'm not that guy. Like, I'm not saying I'm the only one. There's tons of people training on the different floor. But I'm on this mat all alone. And I'm just sitting there. And I'm priming my fucking brain. And that, to me, is like been a massive, massive change for me. It's like, yeah, like I'm feeding myself with, we're going back to the butterfly effect, but I'm feeding myself information from other people who I do look up to, who've done dope shit in their life and career and business and life, whatever. And I'm programming myself, going back to that programming, brainwashing myself into being like, this is who I'm about to be right now for the next fucking hour and a half, whatever. And so what are some of those things that you do? Like it doesn't have to be as corny as what I just described, but what are the things that you do to get quote unquote motivation to just be better?
I guess I don't really think about it.
Just do it.
Yeah, like I think like that's part of I think people's issues. Like again, it goes back to what I was saying before. Like people don't make decisions. Like all I do is just make a decision. Like either I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it.
Just make a fucking call.
Yeah,
boom.
And like. So again, I think people also put too much value on their own life. Like we're all gonna fucking die. Our lives actually don't mean a goddamn thing. Like forget about it. Like you're nothing. Like there's been trillions, billions, or trillions.
I
of
think
people.
about that all the time, and I'm like, man, I can't remember. If someone even I look up to today passed away, there'll be some social media posts about it, but tomorrow they're forgotten.
Man, Hormozy, again, going back to him, man, he had the best fucking thing he ever said about that shit. When he's like, bro, motherfuckers are going to miss your funeral for a dinner meeting.
Yeah.
He's like, why the fuck do you care about that shit? Right?
Yeah. He was like the queen, this person who fucking has so many people idolized, looked up to, this, that, da, da, da.
You'll be forgotten tomorrow.
Bro, not 5 days later, no one gives a fuck.
No one cares, bro. It's so meaningless. And
that's why it's not that deep, brother. That's why it's not that deep.
Not that deep,
Even
dude.
though we go deep on this podcast sometimes, that's the overarching philosophy. It's like, fucking let that
really
shit go.
Yeah. So I think if you like stop valuing your own life so much and just be willing to die for the things that actually mean something, like honor, right, and discipline, and like I'm willing to die to lift that weight. If I say I'm going to lift it, like I'm willing to die to lift that weight. And people are like, oh, that's fucking stupid, man. You got kids. And like, well, I might die a fucking heart attack tomorrow, bro. I might get cancer. Like, at least I died honorably. I did something I loved. Like, that's going to teach my kids more lessons than me dying in a fucking hospital bed or in a nursing home or whatever the fuck kind of silly way people die. Like, I want to go out in a fucking ball of flame, bro. Like, going for it, man. Like,
that's a life better lived anyway, bro.
Yeah, it's so much better, and so I don't think so much about like so I do these podcasts all the time, right? And everybody always asks me about what I did, right? And I actually, I don't know if you could tell, a lot of them, I wouldn't, they're not like canned responses, but I've done these responses so many times. I don't give a fuck about what I did. I don't think about it, right? Um, like I had the hardest time when I first got in the UFC, because they kept asking me about my overdose, right? I was like, bro, like I barely fucking, like that was a different person, bro. Like I don't know that guy, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I was fucking retarded. Uh, it's about what I'm gonna do. Like I don't give a fuck about what I've done. So when we go back to that motivation, it's like, dude, I just know what I want to do, and I just fucking say I'm gonna do it.
Conviction.
Dude, it's like, yeah, conviction. There's so little of that, right? There's so much like open-endedness, and I'll try. And again, that's why I talk about that as a man thing all the time. Like stop trying, bro. The Jedi Master Yoda said it best: "Do or do not. There is no try." Right? It's just that fucking simple, man. Not easy, So like a lot of times I talk like this, and I can tell like turns people off because they're like, God, like, that's not easy, right? Like I have, they have a million excuses, but what they forget is like, dude, I make those excuses for myself too. Like I say it this simply because it's that simple, not because it's that easy to do, right? I do the same stupid shit. But I'll tell you one of the biggest, if you want to talk about hacks, right? That's what every influencer fucking talks about, right? So be influenced today, motherfuckers. The biggest hack I've ever done, bro, was waking up to the cold plunge. And I don't think there's a single medical benefit from it. I don't think it fucking does shit. There may be some immune response, good shit. But I tell you what, going from that fucking warm ass, comfortable, beautiful bed and walking into I live in Ohio. Like I go out there when it's 0 degrees outside, bro.
I'm Canadian, bro. I can relate.
Yeah, I can
relate.
Yeah. Like the fucking water is warmer than the weather a lot of times.
Yep.
Like doing that at a specific time, right? I set the alarm and said, like, that's the first time I do. I'm not even going to look at my phone. I touch the alarm, obviously, but then go straight to that. It gets me in that mission mindset. It's like, dude, like I can do anything now.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's such a stupid, silly little thing. You know what I mean?
No, but
it's like, just start.
It's because it sucks and most people won't do it. And then it shocks your fucking system. And then you're like, let's fucking go. And you do hard shit.
So I've had the hardest time with this, like, because I've been talking about starting a podcast and everything. We were just talking about yesterday, right? One of the hardest things I've had about it is, I mean, you hear how I talk. Like everything's like pretty simple, straightforward, blunt, right? One of my mentors, Louis Simmons, you know who this is?
No.
So he was the founder of Westside Barbell, the strongest gym in the world, had over 150 world records. He's the single most savage person I've ever met in my life. Just a legend amongst legends. Like there's a lot of people that will fucking bow down to you because I trained at his gym, and he was one of my mentors. So anyway, so there's an Arnold Festival every year. Hundreds of thousands of people come into Columbus. They all go visit Westside Barbell. Not a lot of them go. There'll be thousands of people in there. Louis, one weekend, he was in there. People just asked him questions all day. He's answering every question. And I was like, Louis, I was like, you got the strongest gym in the world. Like, you're going to tell them everything you guys do? Like, he goes, they won't do it. And that like clicked something in me. I was like, bro, like,
they're just there for the porn, basically.
Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah. So, but not too long after that's when, actually, I think they were doing it before that. They had newsletters saying what their workouts were. They had videos. Louis got like 20 books or something saying his exact methods. They would videotape their training and put it on YouTube. There's like a documentary about all this too. And they were still the strongest gym in the world. So it's like, to circle back, what I'm kind of getting at, I'm like, I struggle with this with my fighters a lot too. Because I'm like, you have to do it. That's literally 99% of it. Like knowing what to do is like not ain't half of it, bro. I don't give a fuck what you do.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out. Again, if you know your why, you'll figure out your how. You'll fucking figure out what to do. But you have to fucking do it. And you have to do it with fucking conviction. You have to do it as hard as you can. You have to do it with 1,000% max effort. And you have to do it without regrets, win or lose. Fucking take the leap, bro. Talk to the fucking girl. Fucking
don't
make
think
the
so
phone
much.
call.
Don't think so
think
much about it. The thing that always pisses me off
because again, people like value their lives, right? When you're talking about like lifting weights or running or shit, they're like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna die. It's like, Die, motherfucker. Like, do the
Find
run.
out.
Yeah. You know, or they value their ego, right? So they're afraid to talk to the girl, right? Or they have their values in the wrong things. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, bro, I can just relate with that when it comes to, my business as well. And this is not here. I'm not here to just plug it, but basically what I've learned over the years is we were thinking of at one point, well, why don't we just teach people about what we know about social media and stuff, and then they'll go and do it. They'll never fucking
They
do it.
don't do it. Yeah.
So we just do it. We'll just do everything, and that's how I've had a successful business or whatever over the past however many years, is because there will always be people who are going to pay people like me to just handle it, just do it, bro. And I was like, nah, but like we can help way more people if we just give them the blueprint. Let's put some YouTube videos. Maybe we do a course. Maybe we do some consulting. And you can literally give people the fucking blueprint. I bet you could give people the entire code on this is how to train. This is what to eat. This is the mindset. This is whatever.
Yeah.
And like, yo, you still need the accountability bit, and you still need to actually want to do it from within.
I do seminars all around the world all the time. I used to be like real nervous about teaching certain techniques. And then sometimes I would come back like the next year, right? To the seminar, bring me back. I'm like, none of these motherfuckers did anything I told. Like, I got to go back to last year's thing.
You could just do the exact same thing, because, I mean, it's a lot of what Tony Robbins, like, not to put him down or anything, but like a lot of that is like the energy and whatever, but he's giving you like actionable things and whatever. I don't know. I've never been to one, but like, from
his live thing sucks, but
from what I've heard though, it just fires people up
for some people. Yeah.
And then you feel good, but it's like, it's this dopamine of like, oh, I did something.
Yeah.
But you didn't actually do nothing.
Yeah.
So
don't get me wrong. I love Tony Robbins. I mean, I think he's a brilliant fucking guy.
For sure. No Tony Robbins hate over here.
No, I love the guy. But I went to one of those, my ex-wife or girlfriend at the time or whatever, asked me to go. And I was like, all right, yeah, it's Tony Robbins. Like, he's fucking great, right? It is so silly, bro. Making people dance and shit. And like, she's up there like doing this type of stuff. And I was like, I'm about to leave. Like, I can't do this. Like, it's not my style.
Fair enough, brother. Hey man, well, just to wrap this up, man, what's a message you want to leave to the people? What's one thing that, maybe could help them be 1% better themselves?
Shit, man. You can't ever wrap it up in one message, right? Like, it's not enough. It's like a lot of times people ask me, for instance, particularly like fighters, like, oh, I'm having my first fight. What do you suggest? Like, it's very, very individual. I think it's for everyone. But if you just had to give one message to every single person, just be like, do fucking 10 times more than you think you need to do. Just
beautiful.
Like, stop with everybody's like, I want to go above and beyond, and they'll do one extra. I might not do like 10 times more, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, the way that we all count things is wrong. This is what like made me a 10 times better guitar player, by the way. So I would count use a lot more minute stuff, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna practice this scale for 10 minutes, whatever. It's like, I do like 10 times more than that to get good. So I'm gonna do fucking 100 minutes of this scale instead of doing like 10 different things.
Because you collapse then the learning curve into like so much faster.
And you actually get good at it, And those 100 minutes, it might be spread out over 2 days. We get tired, whatever. But it's just like, you're talking about reps. Like, let's do more, bro. And then whether that's yoga, if you're a fucking yogi, right? If it's meditation, if it's a sales guy, like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, hell, if you're a fucking cocaine dealer, like, sell 10x more, like, purchase 10 times more people. It's whatever, just fucking
10x it, baby.
People just don't fucking do that.
We only get one life, man.
Yeah.
10x it. I fucking love it.
And I kind of almost don't like it because I hate Grant Cardone. But I don't hate him, but
no, I totally hear you. I didn't mean 10x TM. Just 10x.
I was gonna say, you better get sued, bro.
Hell yeah, bro. Matt Brown, bro, I appreciate you coming on. It's not that deep. Where can people find you on social media and stuff?
I am Immortal, Instagram and Twitter. The Immortal Matt Brown on Facebook. And also do a podcast already. I was talking to you about maybe doing a second one, but I do the one called The Fighter and the Writer for MMAfighting.com. One of the best MMA website in the world. And but all we talk about is MMA. So if you're in MMA, check us out on there.
And who knows, maybe Matt will have that second podcast coming out soon.
It should be.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's looking that way.
Love it, brother. Appreciate your time, man.
My
Thank you so
pleasure.
much.
Yeah, absolutely.